Hello and welcome back. I need to apologize to you guys, but before we do, just brief summary of last episode. We annexed the Dutch East Indies, and like a spoiled little brat, we took our ball and we went home off the playground and went isolationist. Now the apology. I want to apologize to you guys for my cowardice and my lack of moral fiber. See this 14K? We've been at like 14K construction, I think, for a couple episodes now, or just been slowly going up from 12 to 14K, and I really, from the bottom of my heart, apologize for my cowardice. And so for today, in addition to, subjugating the USA, no big deal, we are going to be doubling construction. We're going to be going up to 30K construction, and I know what you might be saying, man, that car's loud outside, and I agree, but also, what do you mean you're going to 30K construction, Generalist? Isn't 14K enough? No, it's not enough. It's never enough. Won't that crash your computer, Generalist? Probably. But we're going to see what we can do going to 30K construction. So the first up is whatever tech we're researching now, political agitation. We don't need that, even though we actually kind of want it. We're actually going to go political agitation and deal with this Latvian succession. The reason why is we want to try out single party state, which requires it. Okay, but after political agitation, after that, we will be going for arc welding. I think we'll do mnemonic tools first, and then we'll go arc welding. That's the plan. We won't get it this episode, but we'll pretend like we could get it this episode, because we have to go ahead of time to get arc welding. Also, this Latvian secession, terrible. We'll just assign someone. We're fighting the USA. We don't even need all of our guys. And now you can see the lag that we are experiencing here. This might be the last episode. It might just be a meme up to 30K. It looks like landing, classic. You land and your guy instantly gets unassigned from the front. The normal Victoria 3 experience. We'll assign a couple guys more over here. But that's the plan for today. Doubling construction. You notice there's 900 in here. About 200, or actually more than 200 of these are construction centers. If we click here and we take a look, about 200, I take it all back. It's going to take a bit to go to 30K, but that's the plan. We're going to try and see if we can do it, or wreck the economy trying. So one of the big positives of integrating the East India Company is it helps a lot for balancing migration. Like, for example, we've been trying to get pops in Dalmatia for forever because they have this really big bonus in the electricity output. But pushing the migration there has been a little bit difficult because migration in terms of exodus is capped at a percentage of your population, and so we haven't been able to have enough people going out. But now that we've integrated the East India Company, now there's a ton of outgoing pops from India that can help to bring this number way up, which is what we want, so we can get all that electricity. You normally can't sap off pops, and it took me a while to realize this from the East India Company because their base level laws in terms of their politics is that they have, let's jump into the look at this guy's politics. For their borders, they have migration controls, which means they don't allow any discriminated pops to migrate, and since the East India Company is almost all discriminated pops, you can get no migration done, especially with loud cars outside. Man, oh man. And so this is one of the really niceties of, integrating them, is every place where we have a labor shortage, that labor shortage is going to get solved soon. What are we running a shortage of, non-labor-wise? And we crushed the Latvian secession. Brilliant. So, for example, we've had a hard time employing in the capital pretty much anything because we've had a lot of stuff there, and we're running a shortage of electricity. Perfect. So, big happy that this is kind of going on right now so that we can try and fix the electricity shortage because... it's a bit of a problem. Also, maybe the US will accept peace at this point in time. It looks like they will, so we will take the peace deal from them, and then we will look to subjugate another former GP. So, the borders don't even look that bad when they're all the same color. Alright, so next up is going to be Austria-Hungary, because they keep on having revolutions, and so we're just going to puppet them. Actually, we'll dominion them. Maybe they'll go after Moldova and Croatia and this type of stuff. I kind of doubt it, but this is going to be the plan. If two Sicilies sides with them, that would be delightful. We'll see how that shakes out, though. So Austria-Hungary backed down without a fight. Cowards. Of course, since we have this Assamese secession movement, which has one person or one soldier, we of course cannot declare war on Russia in this time because this is tumultuous time for our country. We don't know if we can win against this secession movement. It's got 4 troops. We've only got about 500 battalions with the latest and greatest PMs. It's unclear, and so for this reason we are unable to subjugate Russia, which we otherwise would be able to. You know, it's actually even mildly tempting to back down here, like, jokes aside, just so we can subjugate Russia, because this war is, like, less worth our time. It's 100% going to go off. They're not going to back down, and maybe later on, Assam will have some sort of alliance matrix that will allow us to annex, like, Assam and Bhutan at the same time, or something like this. But, like, almost just, like, the principle of the thing, we don't want to back down. The reason that this revolution sparked, by the way, is we made the mistake of building a ton of opium plantations, which fired a bunch of pops, which created a bunch of unemployment, which created a bunch of turmoil, and so this is what's going on. I think we're just going to fight this war, but I think that it might be correct just to back down, just so we could start a different war somewhere else. You know, it's like, it's pretty asinine though, but like, Russia might back down against us, right? If we just try and subjugate them, which would be fine, you know, and, so on and so forth. Actually, I think we're just going to back down here, which feels extra stupid. But now we could start another war, for example, not with Russia, but we can, you know, dominion or puppet the Ottoman Empire, for example, who also is pretty big and is fairly likely to back down. And you see here, we can also get Mahara in the same play, or annex them in the same play, and so this will be useful. You know, I'm gonna look around and see if there's a better, like, alliance matrix that maybe allows us to annex multiple people, or maybe we go after Great Qing, but this is just, like, such a stupid feature. Like, the fact that we can't put down this uprising and conquer someone else at the same time is just, like, really asinine. I hope they fix it in the next patch, you know, in upcoming 1.4. So the Ottomans just backed down to us. Kind of need to take a look over here. They're all the right color, the correct color, the only color to be. But we have another revolution, and this is not one we would want to back down against, just to, you know, kind of free it, because it's radical America. And so we're just kind of in this weird spot where we're just gonna, you know, we're gonna have ourselves a war, but it's like, I don't know, we should be able to start multiple wars. This is kind of a nothing burger for us to put down, and this is kind of one of the reasons why world conquest in general is kind of unappealing to me right now, because you just get super bricked by all of your guys. Also, we invited a guy who promised to enact single-party state, and then he turned out to be a dirty liar, and he's trying to enact protected speech, so that's a little obnoxious. We're not going to be about that kind of life. Protected what? No. Single party, one party, no speech. That's the way. Of all the places in Europe, the middle of Russia has to be the worst place to have French Commune, our title, displayed proudly and loudly. Although I think a part of Napoleon would approve of, you know, the French Commune just right over the iciest part of Russia. So we are going to declare some kind of war on Great Qing, and since they are in the Russian market, we are hoping that Russia comes to defend them. If not, we'll just be taking a bunch of Qing provinces. So we get ourselves a war. We didn't quite have enough maneuvers to be able to also puppet Persia, but we got a pretty good chunk of stuff. We're getting Guangxi, Fujian, Western Hubei, subjugating Russia as a dominion with the hopes that they kind of annex some of their boyos over the course of time, and taking one of the Tibetan provinces with the idea that next time we fight China, we can take another, and hopefully maybe be able to subjugate China in the same war, so annex Tibet and subjugate China, something like this. Maybe it's going to take another China war, but something to this effect. Really wishing that we had let Prussia, you know, eat all of these guys before, because this represents, you know, like, several wars, and we get one-party state, which is going to be big nice. That's a lot of authority, and we don't really need it for consumption taxes, so we're probably just going to blast resources and manufacturing decrees, this type of stuff. So coming in, I think that... Where are we encouraging manufacturing? We're encouraging manufacturing in a couple spots. We can encourage it in a couple more. We can encourage resource industry. We're encouraging it in Perm and Shaanxi at this moment. But we can find some other places. Pennsylvania is probably particularly good, if I recall correctly. I think, Silesia will be good, and we have a lot of authority, and I think that this, you know, this law might be relatively meta, because I think that you will based on just reading it, I haven't looked at the legitimacy yet, but based on just reading it, it seems like you could probably, you know, reach a fairly high level of legitimacy, as you see we do, and not only that, you can, you know, put people in the government that you want to get powerful and maintain power. So, for example, we want, you know, these rural folk to develop power, become more powerful over time because we really like farmers market and honest work. These are particularly good late game. The industrialists are on their way out. They're no longer particularly useful. And so we could try and massage, you know, these three interest groups as being powerful instead, and this will probably be pretty good. We don't really need to mind this war too much. It should be a bit of a roll. Just pretty quick, we don't have a lot of guys on the Persia front. Maybe this is a mistake. Maybe it'll take a little longer. I don't think Persia has a war goal on us, though. Yeah, so we just need to enforce on both Russia and on, China, and hopefully, well, I guess we do need to try and make sure we push into Tibet. Oh no, wait, we have a front with Tibet, so if we should be able to be fine enforcing on Tibet in order to take the province, which is going to be nice. And yeah, so this was going pretty good, but as far as other laws go, we might just go full repressive, because at this, well, I guess we don't really want to do it right now, but currently, rights of assembly is not really giving us a lot. What you benefit from rights of assembly is the tech spread, and we have not been spreading tech very, very efficiently because other countries are not really researching at a very good speed. For some reason, they just don't seem to be powerful, and everyone seems to be, you know, having bankruptcy. The Ottomans were bankrupt before we, you know, went after them. The USA was also bankrupt. I love how it's always a USA acronym, right? United Sovereign Archduchy for the theocratic one, or relatively theocratic. Like, Great Qing, I think, was it bankrupt? I think pretty much everyone's bankrupt. You know, Russia's almost certainly bankrupt, you know, given what we did to their market. Look how we massacred that poor boy. And so, you know, things are, yeah, I forgot the point I was making. Everyone's bankrupt except for us. And so, oh yeah, they can't afford the universities. So, tech, relatively speaking in this game, seems pretty stagnant. But maybe it's just because we're not at 1900 yet. And we're not relying too much on tech spread or getting too much out of our tech spread. We only have like a level 71 uni, and this is kind of it. We're trying to progress towards arc welding. I think we might get to like 30k construction before that. But it's time again to refill the queue. And so I bid you adieu as we refill the queue. So as far as laws go, I completely forgot about the new land reform laws, and we've been on commercialized agriculture despite, you know, going to cooperative ownership in all the manufactories, and this is significantly slowing down the growth of the rural folk, which, by the way, we're bolstering to try and massage these guys to all be above 20% clout so we can harvest their bonuses. Although the Intelligentsia's bonus is really not that great, the migration attraction is becoming a lot worse, considering we kind of are just annexing everything. And so we might even want to bolster like the petite bourgeoisie or something like this, especially because they would allow us, actually, we're going to do this. The petite bourgeoisie in particular, wee woo, wee woo, wee woo, the petite bourgeoisie in particular is going to allow us to, you know, let's see, do that. The petite bourgeoisie in particular is going to allow us to pass like some of the more repressive stuff, although we do have this authoritarian boyo, so he might be a part of the plan as well, and we would like to get some of the bonuses from the petite bourgeoisie if we can, you know, to try and get middle managers and the interest rate. Both of these would be fantastic. And so what we're going to try and do is we're going to pass collectivized agriculture, which we should have a really easy time, oh yeah, 100%, because we have two of these boyos supporting that, which is going to be pretty good, and so this should just fly through. And this will give all of the control over to the farmers, which should just blast, you know, the cloud of these guys into the stratosphere, just completely nuke these guys' clout, because apparently there are some capitalists left. They're just all in the agricultural areas. And so in my mind, when we swapped to cooperative ownership, we had swapped all of them, but there are some holdouts in terms of, you know, in the agricultural sectors. And these will also make agriculture more efficient, but that's kind of a bit more to unpack. But we still are on, well, some of them are on publicly traded, not the opium plantations. I guess if we weren't just swapping over to the new PM, we would swap all these over. But I wonder why the opium plantations are not like that, because I thought it force swapped them all. Like if we click on Isle de France, alright, enact presidential republic, we see that we're on publicly traded, and so it is capitalist owned currently. So we didn't full swap. It now requires more law passes to swap, which overall in 1.3, this is kind of what we're seeing. Normally we would have had all of our laws that we want in place like a decade ago, and now we're still passing laws that we are interested in. So it's a little bit more dynamic here in 1.3, or at least, if not dynamic, you know, much more engaging for a longer period of time, which I think is good, but obviously it makes some starts like a lot harder. Like anything that starts really conservative, like Japan for example, is going to be a lot harder now. But we just enforced on Great Qing, and I'd like to emphasize here, or point out here, they have 25% market access in most of their states as a result of being inside the Russian market, which is very cut off. However, we're about to subjugate Russia, which they will accept. Wait, what? Do we have to set to white peace and then propose? Okay, so buggy. So we are about to subjugate Russia in terms of making them a dominion, and after that, I believe Great Qing's market capital is here, and so not only will they be 25% cut off, they will be 100% cut off, with the exception of here, unless they have enough convoys to support it, which I don't think they do. So we're going to propose the peace deal and see what this looks like. So we subjugate Russia. Russia will, of course, get access very quickly, and now Qing is on its own, and this is the only spot with market access, and if we come in here, 0% market access. So this will probably cause a Qing explosion. I'm not sure if they are weak enough now, and they might be weak enough now to decay into a prestige level where we could subjugate them. It looks like they are, for being an unrecognized regional power, so if they can avoid imploding for long enough, then we can just scoop them up and subjugate them straight up, even with all these territories remaining. We also notably have Dominion Russia. We chose the Dominion with the hopes that they will just actively annex and, you know, play around in Central Asia as they normally do, especially because now as their market access fixes, yes, of course, it does fix, now they will stop trying to produce infinite convoys, which is kind of what they were doing before in terms of their MO. So if we just take a look and let's see what they're building now. Well, they're still plus 14ing a bunch of convoys, but yeah, they haven't been building too much, and hopefully they start building a little bit more, and they decide to, you know, go after these guys in Central Asia so that we don't have to. We probably won't annex Russia for some time. But I think we're going to conclude the episode here. You know, we failed morally and spiritually to get to 30k construction, instead only going from 15k to 22, like 23k, 22.7. Obviously the game's going extremely slow now. This is the state of affairs. This is the soup we're swimming in. But we did manage to also subjugate both the United States, the USA, which is the United Sovereign Archduchy, and Russia, which now the map is getting pretty painted. So we are going to continue along. I think, you know, want to pass collectivized agriculture, want to crank up to 30k construction, can't leave the run without doing this. Don't worry about this. I'm certainly not. And we are going to try and keep incorporating. We have been, you know, it hasn't been in terms of what we've been doing, but we have been incorporated very aggressively, which is why we're always having bureaucracy problems. The main idea behind incorporating aggressively is we can do it, so we might as well. And also, we have more than enough bureaucracy once we're building up to solve the tax problems, and we also want to stimulate the economy. So when we build a bunch of these government administrations, you generally don't want to build a ton of them early. This is such a digression. You generally don't want to build a ton of them early because you want to blast construction, but now we're at a point where blasting more construction is increasingly difficult, and building a bunch of government administrations stimulates the economy because all these workers will consume consumer goods, which allows our consumer goods stuff to be more profitable. It's still not super profitable, but this is kind of why, you know, pushing this kind of as things go later become good, even though at the very initial outset, building a ton of government administration is bad. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed. We subjugated the US and Russia. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, do the YouTube do the YouTube algorithm stuff, and have a good day.